The way you protect against that is diversification. And now, so for example, I don't put more than 3% of my net worth in any one investment. And last week, if you'd asked me what is the best investment you had that has the most potential to be a 10Xer, I would have said it's this company. I invested in this healthcare company that does preventive medicine through text-based messaging, selling into the enterprise. Baller CEO, tier one VC, huge hitters, investors. Had to elbow my way in to get in. What a thrill I got to invest. Went out of business last week. Zero, right? My investment goes to zero. But here's the thing, it bummed me out for about an hour because diversification is your Kevlar. Okay, I lost 3% of my net worth. Doesn't mean anything. Well, I want to give my kids everything. Well, what's everything? Well, I want to give them the best chance to get into great college. Okay, why? So they can have, more options than I did growing up. What do you mean by that? What do they get? Well, a better job, more opportunity. Well, why do they need more opportunity, a better job? Well, so that at the end of the day, they can do what they want and maybe get some economic security and afford a home and have a family and have economic security and have an absence from stress. Like, okay, got it. Instead of sending them to First Presbyterian and Grace, and I've heard you talk about this, there's a lot of research showing that the best school for kids is the one closest to their home. And then that will ease a lot of economic anxiety stuff. So I would just love to have a banner that says public school or 5.3 million. It's or public school and 5.3, like Grace Church or 5.3 million, because people just don't realize how fast time goes and how powerful compounding is. I hate side hustles. Side hustle is fine for exploration if you're not happy with your main hustle and you can't give it up because you need the money, but it's exploratory. And if your side hustles are going on too long, it means you got to change your main hustle. Because I would bet, and I'm fairly confident the research shows this, that the incremental 10 or 20% effort reinvested into your main hustle will provide greater return than the distraction caused by an incremental side hustle. That really wealthy people crawled over other people to get there, that they're billionaires lighting their cigars with $100 bills. That's bullshit. The majority of self-made people are actually good people. They're high character. And the reason why is if you want to be really wealthy, you need to collect allies along the way. People have to want to put you in a room of opportunities, even when you're not physically in the room. They want to give you the benefit of the doubt. They want to go easy on you when you fuck up. They want to include you in deals. They want to come to work with you. They want to present opportunities to you. And the only way that's going to happen is if you show generosity and character from an early age. So, like I said, greatness and wealth is in the agency of others. And Barry taught me, is he said, you can totally delete the should bucket. I no longer do things I should. And it's actually a bit of a point of tension with my partner. But she'll often say, oh, we should do this. They're nice people. And I'm like, I don't want to do this and I don't need to do this. I should do it, so I'm not doing it. And that is so liberating to just say, okay, there's just some things you have to do. The stuff you want to do, that's easy. But get rid of the should bucket. And then the last thing, and this is something, do as I say, not as I do. It really killed me a couple times. Took me from wealthy to not wealthy. I've been rich 3 times. This is the 3rd time, and I'm really hoping it sticks this time. But the first 2, it went away, and it's because I didn't understand diversification. I always assumed that if I threw myself into anything, that I should go 110% in, not only with my time, but my capital, and that anything I devoted 110% of me to, because I was so awesome, that I could move mountains. And you need to recognize that market dynamics will trump individual performance all of the time. Most of my success and my failure is not my fault. One of my role models, a guy named Barry Rosenstein, who started Jana Partners, said there's 3 buckets in life. There's things you have to do. Your biggest investors in town, you have to do it. You get invited on Joe Rogan, and this is the date, the window. You have to get there for that date, right? There's things you want to do. Oh, I'm going to Cannes to the Creativity Festival, or your mates are meeting up for, in New York, all your friends from the UK, right? You want to do that shit. And then there's things you should do. My coworker's kid is having a wedding. I really should go to this. It's South by Southwest. I got invited to a party with all these podcasters. I should go and network. I should. The great thing about having economic security, and Barry taught me, is he said, you can totally delete the should bucket. I no longer do things I should. And it's actually a bit of a point of tension with my partner. But she'll often say, oh, we should do this. They're nice people. And I'm like, I don't want to do this and I don't need to do this. So I would just love to have a banner that says public school or 5.3 million. or public school and 5.3. Like Grace Church, my father, between his Royal Navy pension and Social Security, and he owns about a dozen washing machines that he collects quarters from in trailer parks, he makes about $52,000 a year without really working. He enjoys going and collecting quarters. My dad is Scottish. He's like tragically cheap. I'm pretty sure he goes home, lays the quarters out on his bed and rolls around them in them. I think that's probably fun for him. But his passive income, he spends $48,000. He's rich. His passive income is greater than his burn. That's the definition of rich. And so that's the point. You want to get to a point where you have enough investments that are spinning off capital or growing such that your passive income is greater than your burn. And you can do the math, right? Well, okay, if I'm going to need $120,000 a year and I think I'll get 8% or 6% on that, I need to save $2 million. All right, this is how many years I have to work. I'll assume the market will go up 8% a year. You can kind of do the math around how much you should be saving and putting in to low-cost index funds. So that's the goal.